Hello everybody and welcome back to Redbud here in Buchanan, Michigan in the United States of America. It is MX on 75, that's right, Motocross the Nations, the FIM Monster Energy Motocross the Nations here 2022. My name's Paul Malin, and for this second race, which will be the MX Open and MX2 riders, I'll be joined by a four-time winner, Rick Johnson, of course, no stranger to fans and riders. Anybody that watches motocross either side of the Atlantic all over the world will get his thoughts throughout the second race in a few moments time. But we are in Michigan and we've been blessed with mixed weather so far this weekend. We had good weather right the way up until this morning. We had a perfect racetrack for the qualifying races, and even after the B final, where we had something of a quagmire, the Ritchie family and their track crew have done a fantastic job of getting this racetrack into absolutely perfect condition. And so the MX2 and MX Open riders just making their way towards the end of their sighting lap. The racetrack here, 1,900 meters long, sticky in a few places. Here's what it looks like on the track map. The dark gray, that's the finish line. Down through the start straight, Sector 1 ends coming out of the first turn. Sector 2 takes us a few corners into the racetrack. The little straight, which is the Monster Energy triple, up into turn 6. Then a few corners later, you see we're in Sector 3, and then the final sector right the way back towards the finish line. So if you'd hear us talking about Sectors 1, 2, 3, and 4, they are the parts on the racetrack that we will be talking about. The racetrack here then, still the weather maintaining drying conditions. The wind is picking up. Let's take a look what happened a few moments ago in the first race. MXGP and MX2, the gate dropped. It was raining to start with, but it was Eli Tomac who grabbed a good start, but it was Jago Geerts of Belgium who grabbed the Fox Holeshot, but by the time they got to turn 2, the 101 of Eli Tomac of USA was leading the way. Maxime Renault was second for 13 of France. Jago Geerts got himself into third, and the 22 of Jeremy Seewer was fourth. But on the opening lap, Seewer dealing with Evans in the background as Jago Geerts burst into second position. The French were having a good ride with Maxime Renault, but he stayed in third. Seewer was in fourth, but then as the race went on, he was gaining confidence. He had a big moment. We'll see that in a moment. Marvin Musquin of France got up the inside of Adamo to finish in 14th place. This was Seewer's crash. Front end over the bars, cartwheeled, didn't lose a position, and would finish in 4th place. But Eli Tomac was in a world of his own. He eventually gapped Jago Geerts to cross the line. America win race 1, Belgium's Jago Geerts second, then it was France, Switzerland, and Australia.
Red, white, and blue, our Star-Spangled Banner. And Chase Sexton lines up on the line. And we are about ready to go.
Right, let's go down to Lisa. She caught up Andrea Dovizioso and Jett Lawrence.
So we are almost ready for the second race of the day, MX2 and Open categories. Let's speak to a couple of the guys, the first being Team Australia's Jett Lawrence. Jett, let's quickly talk about that first race. I know Mitch did a fantastic job holding on to that 5th position, and currently you guys are second in the standings. Is that where you're happy to be at this stage?
Definitely. The boys did awesome in the first one. They did what they needed to do. Now, this time it's trying to hold up my deal, so I got to make sure I get a good start and just ride like I know how to ride and just see where I end up. Hopefully I can be up there and maybe battle with the boys, learn some stuff. So we'll see how it goes.
And obviously it's your first race on the 450. It is going to be your very first Motocross Nations event. How are you finding it so far?
I'm mainly just excited. It's like excited and nerves also because I don't want to do bad. But no, I'm just mainly excited to get out there, run with those top boys, be excited to run with Chase and Dylan again. So it's going to be exciting.
Best of luck, Jett. Have a good one. Thank you. So we have another special guest here at Redbud. It's Andrea Dovizioso. Andrea, how's retirement life treating you?
Well, I'm happy because I'm here.
Not in Japan?
Not in Japan. A really wonderful track, but Redbud is something special.
Okay. And of course, this is your very first Motocross Nations event, isn't it? How are you finding it and the atmosphere? Totally different to MotoGP, I'm guessing.
Yes, it wasn't on the plan to be here. But after my retirement in Misano, I couldn't come here because I think it's one of the best tracks in the world. And I've never been in the race of nations. So the American fans are crazy.
That's motocross.
Exactly. And we are here to support the Italian team for sure.
Obviously, you're here to support Tony and the guys. That first race, quite a tough one for them, currently 5th in the standings. Thoughts?
Not the best, but not bad, in my opinion. So still everything is possible.
Enjoy your very first Motocross Nations event. Okay, good luck to all the guys. It's time for MX2 and open categories.
So here's how the Motocross of Nations scoring system works. If you're new to the FIM Motocross World Championship and the Motocross of Nations,
per team.
Here's how it goes.
Numbers are allocated according to the previous year's result. For example, the defending champions take numbers 1, 2, and 3. There are 3 races on Sunday. Each rider races twice. Where you finish is what you score. First is 1 point. 10th is 10 points. The best 5 out of the 6 results count. The worst results get dropped. The lowest team total wins.
Here's how the riders line up for race 2, which is MX2 and Open. My name's Paul Malin. Alongside me, 4-time Motocross of Nations winner, Rick Johnson. Ricky, USA qualified on pole yesterday with the qualifying races, and this time around it's the MX2 rider Justin Cooper and Chase Sexton for the Open class riders. All the rest of the riders there on screen. What have you made of that first race so far, and what can we expect? Because the rain looks like it's starting to come down again. The track was drying out perfectly, so we may get interchangeable conditions again towards the end of the race.
Well, as we talked before, you know, sometimes the track is better when it's wet and sloppy because it doesn't get heavy on the bike, and the rider can swing side to side. As you're watching, a lot of rain is coming down. That's a concern. Main concern is your vision. I know we have roll-offs, and we put the foam on top of the helmet to keep the mud off, but there's just so much that you got to make sure that you keep your goggles on during that race. But it was huge for Eli Tomac to come out and win that first round because that gives them a little comfort.
Justin Cooper takes his position behind the gate, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cooper lines up on the inside gates. Remember, the Motocross of Nations, all about strategy. Chase Sexton may have gone to the outside. If we can get a pan, we will do from the inside gate as we look down right. It will be panning left to right for us towards the box. But if you are first picked, like Team USA, your first rider will go as first available gate wherever he wants to go, and then so they get gates 1 and 21. Dylan Ferrandis will be lining up for France alongside his MX2 teammate Marvin Muscan. They put in a good performance in the first race, and if you weren't with us, USA lead the way on 10. They had a first and a 9th in that first race. Australia on 13, Belgium on 14, France 17, Italy 22, the Netherlands 23, and then we start hitting some big numbers. But as the rain continues to fall down here, we've got an interesting matchup with the 2 Lawrence brothers. One on the 250 there, Hunter Lawrence, and his brother Jett on the open class bike 450, making his debut for the first time. And there is Jett Lawrence. Is he inside or is he towards the outside? That is going to be the big question. Looks like Hunter down the inside there in gate number 4. And Rick Johnson, you've obviously raced this, won it 4 times. Gate pick is crucial, especially when you get conditions like this.
Well, and I've always said condition over position, but we have the grate behind the gate, and what that does, that makes it consistent. But as the riders look before they do the parade lap, they can see what it's like on the other side. The track crew has done a great job scraping the mud off, but it is raining a lot more than we anticipated right now.
The Fly Racing 15-second board up for the second time today. It is raining right now, and the racetrack here at Redbud. It is MX2 and Open. Who will it be that grabs that all-important Fox Holeshot? USA leading the way at the moment in the general classification, but Justin Cooper is going to be over on the inside there. Chase Sexton a little bit further down for the USA. And will they have all the small bikes in? Well, Anstey gets a good start from the inside for GB, or is it Tommy Searle? Actually, Searle goes down. So GB and Ferrandis in there as well, 15. And the German in there is the Italian, Mattia Guadagnini, who leads the way for Italy.
But for America, this is the race that they've wanted to see. You got Jett Lawrence, who's the lights 250 champion, and the runner-up in 450 to Eli Tomac, Chase Sexton. So now we have a race on our hands. We got Italian out front with America and Australia second and third.
Yeah, Guadagnini leads the way from Chase Sexton now. He's already found his way past Jett Lawrence. But look at that, Australia third and fifth, and Cooper in there as well. So a good tactic to have your MX2 rider at the inside if you're the United States, and also Hunter Lawrence getting a good jump from there as well. But perfect track conditions at the moment.
Yeah, but as you can see, the rain is coming down hard. It's going to get better, then it's going to get worse. Right now, it's going to get a little bit lighter, but right now we see Chase Sexton looking to the inside.
Yeah, Sexton menacing there in second position, but he's being harassed by Jett Lawrence already. Two teammates from the same team, but on the 250 and 450 in the USA. This time they're riding on the same class, but for personal pride, country pride, national pride. But it's the Italian Guadagnini, Italy, the defending champions, don't forget. And he was in a rookie year last year when he helped Team Italy to win it. But the rain falls down. Sexton there in the second position on the 103. And the green and gold of Australia, Jett Lawrence, on his big 450 bike debut this weekend. He is there in third place.
Well, I talked to Lucas Martel, who is Jett's manager, and he says Jett was immediately comfortable on that 450.
Fourth position, Justin Cooper, and then Hunter Lawrence was, but has Hunter Lawrence disappeared? We'll soon find out as they make their way back into view as Guadagnini goes to the inside. Sexton will not be able to triple up the hill, and Guadagnini makes sure of that. Quick pull of the roll-off set. Oh, Hunter Lawrence, Jett Lawrence casing the triple at the top of the hill. We have lost his brother, Hunter Lawrence. He's down in 19th place at the moment, so... But he tipped over somewhere, but we don't know where on the track. But that is disastrous at the moment, that if he doesn't really improve on that position, he's going to need to throw away that race going into the final race.
Well, Paul, let's be honest. When I raced in 1987, way back in the day, when I got in front of Keith Vanderven, I made sure that I went slow enough to fill his goggles full, fill his helmet full, try to fill his radiator. So there's some tactics, and that's why you see the Italians out front and Chase Sexton and also Jett Lawrence having to pull tear off, and they got to make sure that they keep as much mud out of the radiators as possible.
Remember, you can drop your worst score at the end of the third race of the day. Until then, we do count all the scores and all the classifications. But as it stands right now, USA on 20, Australia on 42. Here's what happened to Hunter Lawrence a moment ago. Did he just tip over? Was it a fall? He was in about fourth place. There he is, uphill into the next left-hander. Eye touched with maybe Cooper. So I think him and Justin Cooper tagged. Lawrence goes down, and he's now currently in 18th place.
Well, that was a situation where you got to be aggressive. And Hunter went to the outside, squared it, come across. Cooper was on the inside. As he went for it, he just missed it, clipped Cooper's back wheel, and down he goes. So a very, very costly mistake. It's one thing to fall later in the motor, lose 1 or 2 spots, but on these opening laps, you lose 10 to 15.
After the first round of action, which was MXGP and MX2 riders, Team Italy were down in 6th position. They've improved to 4th all of a sudden on 54. That's still a pretty big number, but they'll be looking to throw away their worst result at the end of it, as will everybody else. But still looking good for the USA at the moment, with Chase Sexton there in second, Jett Lawrence there in third place for Team Australia, 1:15. Just behind them, we've got Justin Cooper of America, Ruben Fernandez of Spain, Hardy Munoz, the second MX2 rider, in 6th place after Justin Cooper. Then we've got Calvin Valana and Harry Kulas, Marvin Muscan, Freddie Noren, Lorenzo Locurcio, as the track with this rain will continue to get deeper. And on some of the places on the racetrack where it's hard underneath will start to polish up and get very, very slick. So it's going to be an interesting 25.5 minutes plus 2 laps from here, Rick.
Well, and we've seen how the paddle tire has evolved and everybody's running it, so it's a huge advantage. But when you break through the mud and through the soft dirt, you get to that hard spot, it becomes very sketchy and hard to hold on to.
Justin Cooper on screen here, 102 from the United States of America. He is in 4th position. In the earlier broadcast, I alluded to the fact that normally you have weaker riders, not the weakest, but weaker riders overall in this class. And that is good for the MX2 riders, and we saw that a moment ago with Cooper there in 4th. Hunter Lawrence was up there in 5th, and Hardy Munoz in 7th place. These guys didn't get a look in too much into the top 10.
But you got to imagine how perfect Cooper and also Hunter Lawrence's start was.
Oh, Kai de Wolf from the Netherlands is down. So where was he? He was in 20th place anyway. But but that's on the final corner.
Yes.
So Kyle Wolf going down, and that is going to be costly for the Netherlands, who were victorious here in 2018.
Well, back to finish that thought, how on point were the two lights or MX2 riders to be that far up front? It was one thing, you know what it was like running a 125 or a 250 against 500s, but these two riders pulled off impeccable starts to be up in the top 5. Unfortunately for Hunter Lawrence, he went down, but now Justin Cooper in a perfect spot.
Just looking at our timing screen as we focus on Justin Cooper, who's being urged on by the fans here. Max Anstey and Tommy Searle down in 33rd and 34th, but looking good for Italy at the front of the race at the moment. So Mattia Guadagnini continues to lead. Looks like there's a bit of respite in the rain on this part of the racetrack for the Italian, who continues to lead the American Chase Sexton and Jett Lawrence. Lawrence closing in on the American, though.
Well, that's the one thing about this race is that you go in with a strategy. Roger DeCoster has won this so many times. If he wins this will be his 23rd victory as a team manager, not to mention all the wins that he had for Team Belgium. But to finish that thought, that as a rider, you know that what you need to do, and right now they're letting them know as far as points. And Guadagnini is out in front, but he's just staying outside of his roost, but he's got to watch Hunter Lawrence, and we see Guadagnini clear the Rocco's lead.
Yeah, and Jett Lawrence a moment ago looked like he was closing in, but as they came out of Talladega, down through the left and then back on this side of the valley towards the rollers, that outside line approach that we saw quite heavy in the first race, costing him time, and that has allowed Sexton to pull 1.5 seconds over the Australian. So, but it's Mattia Guadagnini who holds just over a second and a half second advantage over Chase Sexton. Lawrence closing back in, though, just behind him.
Guadagnini got a little bit bigger body, a little bit a taller rider, and I think if you use that to your advantage in the mud, it definitely helps. We see Chase Sexton, also another rider that's a little bit tall, but now watching Jett Lawrence, I think he's going to get faster as the race goes on. He hasn't been on the bike that much.
I tell you what is interesting, Dylan Ferrandis, he fell at turn 1. He has pulled his way up to 11th place. He is on a charge for Team France, and his teammate Marvin Musquin just ahead of him in 10th place. So the French are not done yet. Dylan Ferrandis not done yet. And if we get a replay of the start at some point, you'll see Tommy Searle was the first rider to go down for Great Britain. He is buried down the inside. It's Jett Lawrence. Knacks his way into that bottom corner, turn 7. Somehow managed to keep it up on 2 wheels.
A great save, Paul. You were looking at scoring and timing at the time. He lost the front wheel, caught it, went back the other way, jumped another line. Then when he dabbed his foot, threw it over the other side. Looked like Jeremy McGrath in the 90s.
I was talking to his dad on Friday, and he said the advice I've given to Jett is, as it's his first time on a 450, if you feel that you are arms and legs all over it, you're overdoing it, go back to a pace that you are able to work with. So obviously I'm not sure if he's on the limit there or not. Just over 21.5 minutes to go then, plus 2 laps in this second race here at the 75th edition of the Monster Energy FIA Motocross of Nations. We are at Redbud in Michigan in the United States of America. MX2 and open class riders on track. Mattia Guadagnini currently leads Chase Sexton and Jett Lawrence. It's Italy from America, from Australia, and Justin Cooper in 4th. The second of the American riders and the first of the MX2 riders. And that is looking good. Take a look at the replay of the start, though, from above, because there was carnage through turn 1 right at the start of the race involving Tommy Searle and a few others. Searle over on the right-hand gates, just getting a good jump and ahead of the other Italian. Is just behind Jett Lawrence there, maybe clips his rear wheel. Yes, he did. He went down and he took a whole bunch of riders with him, including Dylan Ferrandis. But it was Guadagnini who grabbed the Fox Holeshot on the exit.
As we're watching Guadagnini right now, if you're a rider and you're trying to wonder how to ride mud, watch these riders here. We're further back in the pack. We'll figure out who that is. That's Ferrandis as he starts to work his way forward. Dylan Ferrandis was so fast in the qualifying yesterday, and now he's working his way back up.
Yeah, Marvin Musquin, the rider in the middle, the lead rider for France at the moment, just behind Freddie Noren of Sweden, who buries the front end too deep. The other of the French riders, Dylan Ferrandis, just behind him, the third rider in shot. As Musquin on the 250, Noren on the 450. Still hanging on for Sweden. I wonder if if Team France had told Marvin Musquin that Ferrandis is behind him normally, well, he doesn't need him. Ferdinand makes a mistake and an easy pass in the end, and all of a sudden Ferrandis goes through as well. A bit of luck and a bit of fortune there for the French.
Absolutely, and you were talking about the Paul. Are they going to have information to let him by? Now, Marvin Musquin is going to listen for Dylan, because when we're racing out there, we're screaming, hey, 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 and they're probably, the Australians are saying, oi, 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 but they're letting him know that I'm back there.
Jett Lawrence a moment ago, just legging his way through the turn, just comes to a bit of a stall there, just pushing too hard at the moment. Jett Lawrence in third place.
Well, as I was mentioning earlier about Guadagnini and watching these are three of the best riders in the world. But when you watch Guadagnini, he's very patient, comes into the corner, doesn't try to drop the clutch with a hammer like he's trying to get a whole shot. He's using the dirt, and I learned that from Jean-Michel Bayle in 1987, that you have to be smooth and don't hammer the berms. But Jett Lawrence needs to lean in a little bit more and not get set up as he goes for Larocco's lead.
Yeah, it's not easy to get over that on a 450 at the moment. You still have to be clean to do so. But this is the battle for the lead. 1.4 seconds between Mattia Guadagnini of Italy and Chase Sexton of the United States. And Sexton just has about 2.6 seconds over Jett Lawrence in that third place. And that may just give him enough confidence to go after the Italian, knowing that he's not being pushed from behind.
Well, it lets you open up your corners, because when you're trying to chase somebody right now, he can run Guadagnini's lines, he can try left, he can try right, and that's what we saw Hertz as well as Tomac. As we see in the background, a lot of clouds are coming, but to finish my thought on that, right now Chase Sexton needs to try inside, outside, find some lines, as Guadagnini makes the same mistake that Jett Lawrence did, getting up a little bit tall, and here goes Sexton.
Guadagnini bobbles in the turn, and that allows Chase Sexton to get on terms with him, gets alongside of him at the top of the hill. He goes to the inside. Guadagnini should, and a mistake there from Sexton as well. So all of a sudden, Jett Lawrence back into play. The three riders separated by less than a second at the end of lap 4 as we embark on lap 5.
As race fans, this is what we're looking for. Three of the best in the world coming together at Motocross of Nations and going head-to-head. But we saw Chase Sexton make the exact same mistake that Jett Lawrence did, coming into the berm, not leaning into it, getting stood up, and had to wait a little bit.
The atmosphere absolutely electric here. Of course it is, because Chase Sexton right there in second position. Eli Tomac was victorious in the first race, and he takes his opportunity. And I have to pull Ricky Johnson off the ceiling, because Sexton goes into the lead, and it's another 1 point place for the Americans at the moment as Sexton leads. Remember, he's only a couple hours away from here over the border in Illinois, but what a fantastic job for Guadagnini, who held on for the first 4.5 laps. But it's Sexton who leads, and Kaiderwolf down again, and so too, who's the other rider there? Number 96, Håkon Osterhagen from Norway.
So now we see Chase Sexton. He's pulled out a little bit. We saw that Jett Lawrence was starting to push on him, and that's when I think he said time to pull the trigger. But Guadagnini made a little mistake and lost that momentum. But Guadagnini's the only one to clear Larocco's lead.
He was doing that early in the practice yesterday, and he's going to find a way around the outside here. And Guadagnini, half a lap after being taken, finds his way back into the lead. Italy lead once more, and that's a 1 point place for the Italians. Remember, 1 point for a race win, 2 points for second, 3 for third. Crucial points with every single place. And he tries to go around the outside here. Guadagnini knows he's there. He runs him on the exit of turn 1. This is a dogfight between the Italians and the Americans. Jett Lawrence right there. Concertina back and forth, on and off the rear wheel of Sexton. But a fantastic ride this for the Italian Guadagnini in his only second Motocross of Nations appearance.
No, I'm very impressed with him, and especially when you lose the lead, sometimes a rider loses a lot of composure. He bounced right back, Sexton made a couple mistakes, and he was able to take that lead back, running very strong. So Guadagnini doing an awesome job here at MX Nations Moto 2.
Meanwhile, behind these guys, Ferrandis now up to 8. He's cleared Marvin Musquin and Harry Kulas. Kulas now 9th, Musquin 10, Noren 11. Hunter Lawrence is up into 12th place, so the Aussies are fighting back in 3rd and in 12th place with Jett and Hunter. This time he goes to the inside to Sexton. He may just make it happen here. No, he doesn't. Guadagnini read it well, keeps the American to the outside, Sexton.
And this is where I think that you need to rough a guy up a little bit. And a physical game is part of the race. Now, I'm not saying take him out or hammer him or try to hurt him, but when you run a physical race, it changes the way a rider rides. And Guadagnini seems so confident that he just moves right over in front of Sexton.
But talking about roughing up, I think that's what Hunter Lawrence tried to do to Justin Cooper, knowing that they were so close in the overall general classification. It came off worse for him. He took the risk. Cooper stayed up, Hunter went down.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be in position. You got to take control, and that's where it also says, you know, my friend Chris Brennan from Jiu-Jitsu says, position before you try to submit somebody. So you got to make sure you're in the right place if you're going to be aggressive, or you're just going to go down, especially in these runs.
When we look at the overall classification at the moment and the top three closing up here, in fact, we'll do the general at the moment, but with 14 and a half to go, this one is going to go all the way down to the wire. Chase Sexton all of a sudden back under pressure from Jett Lawrence, and he closes down the Australian, who runs it down the inside of Sexton. An apology there from the young Australian, but he moves into second position. A decisive move from the 115 of Jett Lawrence.
And pulls the start. As we take another look at this, we see Chase goes to the outside. Jett shoots it in, slides out, not looking at him, looks at him kind of like, sorry about that, buddy. We got to be under the same tent after this race. So not a dirty move, but he was a very aggressive move. And now let's see what happens between Guadagnini and Lawrence.
With Jett Lawrence now behind Guadagnini, a fresh pair of eyes, because Sexton has been there for the last 6 laps. Couldn't find a way past the Italian. He did, but it was brief. The Italian fought back, Guadagnini. This time around, though, Jett Lawrence, he's been able to watch where those two have been better or worse than him, and he's going to be utilizing that information. He's going to cut to the inside here, and will it be an easy pass for Jett Lawrence, yes or no? When he gets onto the rear wheel, he tried to be aggressive there, but he just ran into some deep stuff through the mid-turn, and it's Guadagnini who continues to lead the way.
I think you're going to see Jett Lawrence go for a move as quick as possible, because he's been eating rouge from Chase Sexton, and he wants to get in clean air and start to throw some dirt in Guadagnini's helmet as well.
A mistake at the bottom of the hill there for Guadagnini, allowed Lawrence to get up on the run at the inside of Guadagnini, but Guadagnini kept him back there in second place. As Lawrence comes back for more, jumping long into the turn, very reminiscent of his Dutch skills from his time in Europe. He's all of a sudden found some speed, and he charges down the inside, takes the lead away from Guadagnini. It's Australia and Jett Lawrence who lead in race 2.
And this is what I was talking about. Make the definitive alpha male pass. He squared him off, went to the inside, and gave Guadagnini no choice but to let off.
So 12 and a half to go. Chase Sexton just losing a little bit of time here at the moment, but he will regroup, I'm sure, in the next few laps. So Jett Lawrence, your new race leader, with just over 12 minutes plus 2 to go. He found his way past Mattia Guadagnini a moment ago, and Chase Sexton just down there in the background in third. But Jett Lawrence, at the end of lap 7, a leader for the first time. It's also Jett Lawrence's first ever Motocross of Nations event. He's normally a 250 rider, just like Jago Hirtz in the MXGP category, stepping up from a 250 to a 450 and having a fantastic big bike debut.
Well, when I watched the bikes yesterday, the Team Honda boys, between Jett Lawrence and Chase Sexton, they look more comfortable. They're cornering more comfortable. They've made some small adjustments to those bikes. Those two guys look very, very strong out on the track. But it was Jett Lawrence who made some very alpha male moves on both Chase Sexton to move into second, and also Guadagnini into the lead.
I tell you what, there's a guy on the charge, and it is Dylan Ferrandis. Here's a replay of the pass a moment ago. Jett Lawrence down the inside. He was decisive, took the line away from Mattia Guadagnini. That's all it took for the Australian to take over the lead. Dylan Ferrandis, meanwhile, up to 7th with the fastest lap of the race. Turns our timing screen purple with a 2:12. Jett Lawrence, who just put in his fastest lap of the race last time around, a 2:15. As Jari Haavisto of Finland goes down.
Well, and what is that going to do with these later rounds? Because obviously Ferrandis won yesterday's qualifying race, but now he's come from so far back to work his way up to 7th.
But look at the lap times of Dylan Ferrandis The next guy ahead of him, Calvin Volandren, 2:20. There's 8 seconds there. He was only 1.3 behind him. So Ferrandis is going to be on the charge, picking off positions. And here he is, down the inside of Volandren. The Dutchman to the outside, Ferrandis to the inside. Everybody concerned about the fitness of the Frenchman, Dylan Ferrandis, having sat out his whole season outdoors. He makes easy work of Calvin Volandren and moves up into 6th place.
When you have a strong Dylan Ferrandis, and we've seen this in America, he rides 10/10 the whole race. They don't. I talked to Jimmy Button, who's his manager, said you never have to push him. He's always training, always in great fitness. Something about him, he is vegan, and that sometimes gives you a slower burn.
Calvin Volandren without goggles, maybe just having some visibility issues. Maybe that's also a reason why Ferrandis was able to close down so fast. But 8 seconds in 1 lap. He was also 4 seconds quicker than Ruben Fernandez. Dylan Ferrandis is not done yet, even with 10 minutes to go.
And now we see Jett Lawrence working towards lappers, and some of the guys are doing their best to race, but he's trying to get out of the way.
Hunter Lawrence.
I'm sorry, I said yes.
Yeah. So Hunter Lawrence finds his way past Marvin Musquin. So as one French rider advances, the other one falls a position behind. And he is gaining ground as well, possibly trying to follow Ferrandis, Ferrandis through. He is in 10th place now, Hunter Lawrence. So he is on a charge. Hardy Munoz just ahead of him is going to do him through the wave section. Hunter Lawrence is on an absolute flyer here. 2 positions in the 2 corners, and he goes down, throws it away. Hunter Lawrence has to do it all again. Unlucky there, but look how deep the turn is. He tried to get it in there. Liam Evans goes through, so too does Simon Langenfelder. Hunter Lawrence just pushing too hard for the conditions.
All that work right there, went down, worked his way back, was doing so well, but that energy, that is like 100% like doing a deadlift, trying to get that bike out of the mud, then trying to get it started. You're holding your breath, so much anticipation. Watch as he comes to the outside, digs the front wheel, pushes it over the top of the berm, and down goes Hunter Lawrence.
Marvin Musquin going past Hunter Lawrence, rubbing his hands with delight, thinking this podium is between 3 nations, maybe America, Australia, and France. If you're just going to give me some points there, my friend, I'll take them.
Exactly, but now as we look, America with 17 points, Australia 10 points back with 27 at this point. The race is not over. We have a lot of racing to do, but America is sitting very strong at this moment.
Well, if you look at the 4 scores at the moment, with America on 17, they have a 9th place to throw away, so that would leave them with 8 points at the moment. Australia on 27, they throw away 13 points, so they're going to be on 14.
Yeah, but it's still anybody's race. Anything can happen when you have mud, you have all this. As you can see how everybody is dark brown and their number plates are caked. They have to try to keep that mud out of the radiators, because these things, if they don't have airflow on, they're going to overheat.
Yeah, in real time, it looks like a 10-point advantage by the USA over Australia, but when you throw that 9th and that 13th away, Australia have a bigger score to throw away. There's really only going to be 2 or 3 points in it at this stage. So still, every point crucial and everything to play for. Here's Jett Lawrence. Lawrence, your race leader.
But everyone was saying from America that Cooper was possibly the weak link, because those guys did so well. But look at that. He is sitting right behind Chase Sexton on the 250. So unbelievable job. He won his qualifying race as we see Jett Lawrence trying to work his way and get away from everybody.
Jett Lawrence coming out of that final left-hander there a moment ago. This corner here, he almost got unseated as he got on the gas. The thing dug in and kicked back around. Mattia Guadagnini, though, still hanging on to 2nd position here. Rider number 3. They're approaching back markers. Chase Sexton all over the back of him. Number 103. And this is going to be a duel right the way down to the wire as well between the Italian and the American. Guillaume Perez, the MX2 rider for Spain. He's in 28th place. He is about to get lapped. He pulls over, lets the battle go through, and then he drops in just ahead of Sexton. Wasn't his fault entirely, I don't think. He was either that or stop in the corner.
Well, I was listening to you and Jason Thomas, and Jason was saying that sometimes you have a hard time getting out of the way as we watch Chase Sexton looking up the inside.
Yeah, Sexton tried to get alongside, but he was always fighting a losing battle, and now he goes to the outside line here. Can he commit a mistake from Guadagnini on the way in? Can Sexton cut back out of the turn? Yes, he can, and it's bar to bar as they charge down into turn 7. This time, Sexton has moved into 2nd position. Another vital point for the USA.
Exactly. That's the thing. You want to try to stay there, and as I said, add some mud to Guadagnini's face and get him on the same level. You can see how clean Guadagnini is. He hasn't had to sit and ride on somebody's back wheel yet.
6 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Jett Lawrence 6 seconds clear of Chase Sexton, who's now in a 2nd. Mattia Guadagnini holding up the flag for the Italians in 3rd place. Where is his teammate Andrea Adamo? He is in 15th position at the moment. as the sixth best MX2 rider. But Jett Lawrence, again, Australia on paper, when you talk about what the Lawrence brothers have done in the US in the 250 class this year, but then putting Jett on a 450, some people saying yes for a podium, yes for a possible win, but will Jett be able to come up with the goods on the 450? Will he be at a weak point, yes or no? Well, you know what? He is answering those doubters and those critics, because he is leading the way and he's doing it fine as well.
There's exclamation points at the end of everything. No more question marks, because he has done a great job. But now Chase Sexton has worked it up, and now we see Guadagnini does not clear Larocco's leap, and that was one of his strong points.
Davide DeCarli on screen a moment ago there, the team manager, assistant manager, if you like, for Red Bull Gas, the team that Mattia Guadagnini rides for back in MXGP, and I'm sure he's pleased with the way he's performing today. Mattia Guadagnini then, he upheld the honour for the Italians last year. It was him that got Italy over the line for the most part. Two good, solid rides, although it was Alessandro Lupino's final race result that did get them there in the end for the Italians to win on home soil. And the only medal, the only trophy that Tony Cairoli had never won as a professional. 9 world titles, yes, but a Motocross Nations, no. This guy coming into the goggle lane for Goggles, the rider that just went out of shot there a moment ago. But the 112 there of Benjamin Garib of Chile, his teammate Hardy Munoz is having a fantastic ride, still in 9th place. And I think opening a lot of eyes this weekend, the young Chilean, second MX2 rider, by the way.
Well, and Paul, I really think it's a sign of the times. As
Musquin has been off. Musquin is picking himself up and rejoins the race. He's either made a mistake or he just had a bobble there or something. It didn't, body language didn't look right there. So he is behind Munoz, so obviously not able to find his way through. Right, watch this here. There was definitely body language there. Look, he just had to hit the brakes. Close moment that for Marvin Musquin and friends.
Well, and that's what JT was saying, is that you got to sometimes, it's hard to get for the riders to get out of the way. And Marvin Musquin carrying about 5 miles an hour faster, then had to check up and grab the brakes. And then when you touch the brakes here, it actually wants to throw you over the bars.
Marvin Musquin tries to get back down the inside of the Chilean Hardy Munoz, and this time he gets alongside, but will the Chilean give him the room he needs? Yes, he does, but it's still a long way to go around. But Musquin, a former 2-time MX2 world champion, of course, finds his way up another position. He becomes the second best MX2 rider as he moves into 9th place.
Well, Munoz obviously with a great start, working, now he's just got pushed back one spot, so he's in 10th position, but an unbelievable job for another lights rider.
Meanwhile, 11 laps complete, a 2:16.5 for Jett Lawrence, our race leader. We're waiting for Chase Sexton to come over the line. The gap now 13.2 as Sexton posts a 2:18. He is 4.3 seconds clear of Guadagnini. Justin Cooper still there in 4th, and Cooper 2:18.1, knocking on the door for Guadagnini in 3rd, who put in a 2:20. So all eyes will be on the battle for 3rd place between the number 3 and the 102. So just over 2 minutes to go. Paul Malin here alongside Ricky Johnson. And there's Dylan Ferrandis. Ferrandis is still climbing up the leaderboard. He's in 6th. He's got Ruben Fernandez right there just ahead of him. Has he? Yes or no? But Fernandez, the Spaniard, in 5th place. So it's a back marker there at the moment. There is Guillaume Ferrez, the other Spanish. But what a charge through the field this has been for Dylan Ferrandis. Off the ground at turn 1, up into 6th place.
But if we look at the time, what we did not see when we were off camera is Ferrandis got a 2:22, so he must have gone down again to lose some more time. So Ferrandis has made a couple of very, very hard bobbles, but now still working his way forward.
Yeah, back markers. And actually, when you think of the first race, how passing was not at a premium. Obviously, we had difficult conditions early on. The first sort of 7-8 riders all stayed. 9 riders stayed in the same positions throughout the entire race. But for Dylan Ferrandis, if somebody had said it's difficult to pass, it's one line, this, that, and the other, he charges down the inside of the back marker here. But he has slided his way through the field from a first-turn crash, and he is there in 6th place. Where is Fernandez? Fernandez is already at the top of the hill and back in the opposite direction. So Ruben Fernandez does have some breathing space. 12 seconds between Ferrandis and Fernandez.
Trying to say that 10 times. All right, so a little homework here. Jett Lawrence has the fastest lap of a 12:14. Actually, I take that back. Ferrandis has got a 12:12. But right now, if you look at the current lap times, Lawrence is 2 seconds faster than Sexton, who is 2 seconds faster than Guadagnini, and Cooper is actually 2 seconds there. So that is an unbelievable 2 seconds per lap if he can continue that. And Paul, is it because he's clearing LaRocco's lead? It's about that differentiator when you do jump it.
It could come down to the fact that he's making it over the top of LaRocco's lead. But obviously we're not seeing him all the way through. I would like to go to the battle of third place between the number 3 and the number 102. That was a moment for Dylan Ferrandis. Marvin Musquin, but nothing too major. But if we can go to Guadagnini in third, because the gap between him and Cooper is about, 3 seconds. And Dylan Ferrandis here in 6th place, setting the fastest sector 4. So the run towards LaRocco's leap and over the finish line.
Well, that's the thing. When you can clear that, we saw that yesterday with Cooper over Hunter Lawrence. It was a 2 second gap. So if you can clear that, that's a guaranteed 2 seconds per lap.
Wow, a little bit out of shape there, and that's going to give more time to Justin Cooper. This is Guadagnini in third. Mattia Guadagnini of Italy doesn't look over his shoulder. The next rider into the turn is the 102 of Justin Cooper. And it's obviously America that are in pole position at the moment, although they can't afford to lose any positions as France are gaining ground. This is the gap between third and fourth. Cooper, if you remember, 2019, the Motocross Nations in Holland at Assen. He dominated the qualifying race on Saturday, crashed with Jason Anderson on the first lap of their first race on Sunday, smashed his hand up, rode through the pain barrier just to get a result. They didn't make the podium that day, and he said, if I ever get an opportunity again to ride the Motocross Nations, I am first in line for redemption. And he's doing that. He will be in a very commanding position here if he can stay where he is, and Team USA, of course, because in his first race he was 9th, so he's going to have 11 points as an MX2, 13 points he'll have as an individual score.
Well, and at that point, we can throw out that 9th position. So great job by Justin Cooper, but he also has the support of the local fans. You've raced in Great Britain. You see that Union Jack out there. You see everybody with the horns cheering you on. That gives you so much adrenaline as a rider, and also you don't want to lose because you don't want to let every fan down.
Rick Johnson, you're a 4-time Motocross of Nations winner. You won at Unadilla in 1987 on a muddy day. You and Jeff Ward and Bob Hanna, you know what it's like to have the crowd behind you, because you've also won in Italy at Maggiora, and you know, the other 2 times outside of the USA. So the difference riding at home in a Motocross of Nations for you was the difference, or not really?
Well, no, because I always felt that in our era, because of Supercross and the popularity was happening so much with the American riders in Supercross, that wherever we went, we were always second. We were second in France to the French riders, second in Italy, and so on and so on and so on. So I didn't mind that. I knew that I was never going to be first in an Italian's heart at an Italian race, but I wanted to make sure that I had support for the second place guy.
Ruben Fernandez in red and yellow, closing in on Justin Cooper, who is also closing in on Mattia Guadagnini with 2 laps to go. Are we going to see a change in the top 3, 4, 5 positions? Dylan Ferrandis about 6 seconds off the pace of Fernandez, but he's whittled that down. He's halved it in the last 2 or 3 laps with his blisteringly fast lap times.
We're watching Guadagnini, and he seems to be a little bit passive as we're watching Justin Cooper get more and more aggressive. And I think the track is getting better, a little heavier, like we talked about, but it seems like Justin Cooper is having more luck with it right now because he's on the lighter bike.
He can't afford to switch off, though, and this is the gap now. It is coming down between third and fourth. Fernandez on the charge as well. Another rider from Spain on his first ever Motocross of Nations visit, and coming here to Redbud, where yesterday the weather was fine, today not so. But this is a real leveler. These kind of conditions, the track is not impossible to ride. It's heavy. Yes, it's technical. You have to think. But actually, you know what? These conditions have really made this event this weekend today.
Well, it is. Right now, it's a great racetrack because we've had some rain, but once again, the guys from Redbud, the crew, Jeff Nordstrom, Tim Ritchie, everybody has done a great job as we see Justin Cooper start to work his way up, but he cannot take that aggressive move. He's better to finish in this position than go down.
But if he thinks about settling for fourth place, Justin Cooper, look how quickly Ruben Fernandez is closing in. Yes, he can afford to lose a place, because when you think of the gap between America and Australia in the greater scheme of things, but at the same time, every point counts. It's not like when we race, it was 1-1 wherever you were in the class. But as we go into the final lap then with Jett Lawrence, a 2:17.4 for him. We wait for Sexton to come through. There he is. And then in third place, we will have Guadagnini, and that is going to be a fantastic battle between these guys. Any moment now, they're over the line. So heading into the final corner, we'll pick them up behind this back marker here in a moment. They'll be coming onto the start straight. So Guadagnini, 1.8 clear of Justin Cooper. Fernandez, 2 seconds behind him. Back marker there, the 1:08 of Josh Varese of Guam. So we're struggling to catch up with Guadagnini. There's Sexton. He's in second position. Interesting thing here, and obviously something to think about going forward. Rick, nothing Motocross of Nations related. The performance from Jett Lawrence going into 4:50 in a fire. Well, in fact, we'll get back to that in a moment. Ferrandis all over the back of Fernandez. He's whittled down 12-14 seconds in the space of about 3 laps. It was 5 seconds a lap ago alone, because Fernandez, his lap time of 2:18, 2:13 for Dylan Ferrandis. So
we should see him get by here. I do want to make a plug for what I'm giving out. I work with the guys from Carson City Motorsports and also from Rockwell Watches to give out individual gold. At this point, we have Justin Cooper as the MX2. If he can pull this off, he will be the overall winner, and he'll receive that watch. It's going to be pretty cool, but we're just going to see what happens in the last motor with MXGP and Open.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll have to see. Obviously, we need to go delving into those results, but he's definitely been more consistent and up at the front as the second best MX2 rider in race 1 and the best in this one. But Dylan Ferrandis, absolutely on a charge. He is going to be... So Dylan Ferrandis, of course, the French rider, he is back-to-back races, don't forget, Open and MXGP Open. A bit of a bobble there through that bottom corner.
But the confidence that he shows as he comes to the inside, just scrubbing the front wheel, he's very comfortable on that Yamaha.
Cooper dealing with the back marker there behind him. Meanwhile, Jett Lawrence, an absolutely dominating display here, wins for Australia, his first ever Motocross of Nations event, and it's his first race win, and on a 450, so out of class. But Jett Lawrence makes it happen. Meanwhile, Sexton second, but Guadagnini third. Where is he? Here's Dylan Ferrandis. There's Ferrandis there. So has he found his way past Cooper? He's made a mistake. So it's going to be Guadagnini over the line any moment now in third place, and he does. Cooper goes fourth. Fernandez should be fifth, and he is just here. And then we wait for Dylan Ferrandis to come through in sixth. But what a ride for Jett Lawrence. What a fantastic ride for Dylan Ferrandis in sixth as well. But Jett Lawrence, your race winner, but it's USA still leading the way after 2 races. Hunter Lawrence making his way up to 10th. But this was the mistake a moment ago. Let's just have a quick look here.
So this is going to the last round, and watch Ferrandis on the inside as he comes in, doubles, gets in.
So Dylan Ferrandis tried to get up the inside of Ruben Fernandez. Not a lot of room to spare there. The 2 riders bang past. Ferrandis goes down. But that's what cost him an extra point. Will that be the crucial point that makes the difference on the top step of the podium come Sunday night? Wow.
Unbelievable race. And the track, I got my hats off to the crew. I mean, we've gotten rain, we've got a lot of weather, but they did a great job not tilling it up too deep during the week because there was rumor of rain, and sure enough, that it happened.
So let's go down to Lisa Leyland. She is with our race winner, Jett Lawrence.
Jett Lawrence, what a race for you. That 450 suits you.
Yeah, no, I was excited so much for it, and it went good first moto. I know the second one's not going to be as easy. That one, it took me a while. I had made a few mistakes, and this was kind of trying to push more. And I just ended up realizing I had to step it back a bit, trying to get that flow. And once I got that flow, I was able to make a few of my moves. I didn't want to get that close to Chase, so I feel bad on that one. It's so slippery there. It's so hard to pass on this track. But no, happy with that. Going to go back, recover, and get ready for the next one.
Good luck for the final race. Thank you.
Yeah, Jett Lawrence absolutely in fine form. in this second race. His first race of the day, don't forget, but he will now have the task of going back, getting the bike cleaned off. His mechanics have got some work to do. There's about a 45 minute turnaround now before they line up again for the third and final race of the day. Australia's sitting second at the moment. But will they be standing on the top step? Will it be the USA? Will it be France? Because they seem to be the leading teams this time around, even if you were to throw a result away. Glad to say, it looks like it's brightening up over on the horizon, Rick, but Jett Lawrence wins race 2. He picks up 1 point for the USA. Chase Sexton for America second. Mattia Guadagnini third of Italy. Justin Cooper. That is the kind of result the Americans need. That's the kind of consistency any team needs if they're going to have a chance of staying on the top step of the podium. Sexton second, Cooper fourth. Fernandez 5. Ferrandis, great ride through the field for 6th. So, 2 races down, 1 to go. It is all action here at Redbud. Here's how they sit. As it stands at the moment, all 4 races count. Remember, USA can drop 9 points from Cooper's his 9th place in race 1. Australia can throw away 10, which is Hunter Lawrence's worst score. So it's going to be very, very tight indeed. What are they, 13, 14, and then 12, so there's 2 points in it if you throw away the worst scores at the moment, but don't write out France either, because what are they on? 18 points, so still everything to play for, Rick Johnson.
Well, going into the last round, and it's a short turnaround. It's not that long. Like typical, you get about an hour or so if you're racing nationals or GPs. Here, it's a pretty quick turnaround for Dylan Ferrandis, who had to work extra hard. I know he's in great shape. I know that he works, but he was giving 100% that whole time, and those bursts of energy, pulling the bike off the ground and throwing that energy, you got to make sure that you save a little bit for the second round.
Take a look at the highlights of that second race then, shall we? MX Open and MX2 went a little bit like this. All eyes over on the left-hand side because Justin Cooper, Hunter Lawrence down there as well. But it was Jett Lawrence from the middle gate, and then Tommy Searle ran into him. Dylan Ferrandis there, look, parked, number 15, trying to get his bike going. He was almost last as he picked himself up. It was Mattia Guadagnini who led the way, though, from Chase Sexton, Jett Lawrence, and then Justin Cooper. Just behind them, though, heading up the hill, Hunter Lawrence on the left, banged bars with Justin Cooper. Cooper went off track. Hunter Lawrence went down, and that would be a costly mistake for the second of the Australians in the race.
A power move for Sexton around the outside of Guadagnini, carrying his speed, and that's going to put him on the inside. But then Guadagnini fires right back, gets around the outside, puts himself back into the lead.
Yeah, great riding from both guys. Full commitment, full send, but good heart shown from Guadagnini, but didn't last long because in the space of a lap, Jett Lawrence went from third to second with a move on Sexton, and then that pass on the race leader, Guadagnini. Dylan Ferrandis on a charge through, though. He caught Calvin Valandrin. That move was for 6th place. He wasn't done there either as Hunter Lawrence fell down. Hunter Lawrence going up 2 positions and losing about 5. He had to do it all again. Last lap.
Yeah, last lap, Ferrandis going for a move, trying to get that 1 extra point, gets into the other rider, and down he goes and loses that point, but also spending a lot of energy, but it was Jett Lawrence all the way.
Yeah, and how costly will that point be from France? But a fantastic ride for Jett Lawrence and Australia. Jed Beaton, are you watching? Fox Holeshot sign. Let's have a look at the start of the race. It was very, very tight. We were focused on what was happening on the ground with Tommy Searle and Dylan Ferrandis. Was it Mattia Guadagnini, yes or no? We'll soon find out. Yes, it was, by about a week.
Yeah, the clear winner goes to, but right there was Jett Lawrence, and also Hunter Lawrence with a great start as well. So Guadagnini with an unbelievable hole shot. Good job for that rider.
How tactical to put the 250 riders up the inside in that race, because, as I said, bar people like Jett Lawrence and Dylan Ferrandis, you know, of course there are some good open class riders in there, but the majority of the big hitters are in the MXGP class. So to put your strongest 250 down the inside paid dividends for people like Australia, France, and America.
In 1987, we used to start nose to tail.
Yeah.
And Great Britain did a great job in the last moto, and they put Rob Herring on the front, and he got out in front with Ron Lachine. They were going back and forth. I was able to catch him, but not pass him. So kudos to Rob Herring beating me in that moto.
how fast was Rob Herring in his day?
Oh, he was a stud and a bull too. I mean, just a big, strong guy. I did get to see him over at Fox Hills, and I didn't get to talk to him much. So if he's watching, let's catch up next time, Rob.
I know who is watching. Tom Fuller, Image Design Custom, responsible for painting a lot of helmets here. Thanks for the text.
And thanks for the replica. It looked really good out at Fox Hill as well.
Anyway, look, some of the best moments, and what best moments we had. The drama or the crashing going on at the first turn, taking out a lot of people. Emil Weckman in there as well, Garib of Chile, Hardy Munoz, his teammate. But Justin Cooper stayed out of trouble. Same couldn't be said for the Dutch because, well, what a save that was as well from Jett Lawrence.
And right there, that was the race that Americans want to see because everyone loves Jett Lawrence, all the American fans, and also they love Chase Sexton as well. What can you say about Eli Tomac? But everyone is wondering, what are we going to see between these two? And now that's a preview of what Americans are going to see next year.
All right, well, look, Rick Johnson, it's been an absolute pleasure. 4-time Motocross Nations win, of course, outdoor-indoor champion over here in the US. Thanks. We'll see you soon.